Hello, my beautiful friend. I just need some real girl time with you. I just need a minute to just vent and talk and also strategize, right? Because you know how we are when we get together. Sometimes we just talk. No one needs to fix anything, but verbalizing and getting it out ends up solving the problem. And that's kind of where I'm at today. And I just always wanted to make the commitment to just be real with you and let you know where I'm at. And we can be on this journey together. So, today, what I need to talk to you about is what progress looks like, or sometimes doesn't look like. So, with that, let's get started. Okay, so this whole conversation, why we're having it, is because probably a couple of weeks ago, I realized I was just really in a funk. And I've been in a funk for probably a good month, which sucks. I don't like being in a funk. I'm pretty sure you don't like being in a funk. And so I wanted to find out, okay, what is going on? Why do I feel like I'm just stuck or spinning my wheels, or what is my blind spot that I have right now that I am just not seeing that is getting me stuck here, right? Because we all have it. We all have a blind spot that just it's so clear to everyone around us. They're like, "Oh, why didn't you just ask? I could have told you the whole list." But we're just running, doing our game, and we're like, no, life is fine. I'm good. I don't know. I'm doing all the things, but we have a blind spot. And you're thinking of someone else right now that you're like, oh, I'd love to tell them their blind spot. Do it kindly, but ask them for permission first if you're going to do that, right? But that's something that actually can be really helpful. If someone asks you, hey, what do you see that maybe I've been spinning my wheels on that I'm just not seeing? That insight can just be so invaluable. Well, at this time, I was just kind of trying to do this by myself. And the first thing that I realized was, hey, you know what? I stopped journaling for a while. And I love journaling. I just love, there's something so clarifying about putting your pen to paper, even if you don't even know what you're going to write about. Half the time I even start like, I have no idea what I'm going to write today. And then all of a sudden, like 10 pages later, it's like, oh, epiphany. Oh, now I know. I feel better. Oh, thank you. And so I realized I haven't been journaling. And usually, like I said, that journaling just gives me clarity and it helps set my day up for success. It just gives me intention, it gives me my direction. It helps clear some of those thoughts out of my head that aren't really doing me well. And it just really puts me in a good place. So I wondered, okay, well, why have I stopped journaling? What happened? And I realized that I had just created a lot of busyness suddenly, and busyness around things that don't even really matter, right? Like, I don't know, cleaning the house or something. I don't know what it is. And my house isn't even really that clean right now, but just there was stuff that I just constantly seem to be doing or having to do. Now, I'm not taking away from legitimate things and schedules and obligations and that sort of thing. So, obviously we all have that, but I was just putting in a lot of filler stuff that's not really moving my needle forward in my life, but somehow I was just needing to do, right? Or if I was really being honest too, I noticed I'm probably wasting a lot more time than I realize. My phone has been in my hand more this last month than it normally is. And my screen time can account for that. Okay, I just admitted something. But it's true, right? Sometimes we just get into that scroll mode, which by the way, total side note, if you like Freebirds by Steven, some of my very expensive shoe obsessions, Facebook Marketplace got a brand new pair for like $10 from someone. Awesome. Okay, going back to where we were. Check it out, Facebook Marketplace. Pay me later, Facebook. Um, so I stopped journaling. I got busy. Okay. That was the number one thing that I noticed. Okay. This is my blind spot. Okay. Now I need to see, why did I decide to stop journaling? And why did I decide to put in all of this busyness into my life to take the place of something that usually creates a lot of progress for me in my life? And as we look at progress, and what progress looks like, I kind of think of it as a roller coaster ride, right? When you get on, you're really excited to go, like, oh my gosh, this is going to be an amazing ride. And then you go. And for that first little bit, it's like, chunk, 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 right? You can feel the cranks and that chain just kind of pulling all that weight up and getting you to the top. And that top seems so far away. And half the time you're thinking, oh my gosh, I wonder if the gears are gonna break and we're just gonna go rolling backwards. Like, are we gonna make it to the top? Because we haven't created any forward momentum in what we're doing yet, right? So that's kind of the beginning. And then you start to crest where you start to see the top. You're like, yes, I can see the top of the mountain, right? Because now we've been putting some action into the thing and we're starting to see that movement. So it gets really exciting and it gets a lot easier to make that forward progress, that forward motion on whatever it is that you're wanting to make a change in or a difference on or whatever. And then you get to the top and finally it's like, oh man, momentum is on your side. It's like, woohoo, you are just up for the ride. It's the thrill, right? We get some loops and some twists and turns thrown in, but we're just like moving and grooving. And then all of a sudden it's like, and you come to this huge, crazy jerking stop that just like almost gives you whiplash. And you're thinking, wait a second, I'm not, I'm not done yet. I wasn't ready for the ride to finish. Like it was only 5 seconds, right? I want another 10 minutes of this stuff. This was fun. If you like roller coasters, I love roller coasters. But you feel like you just kind of came to this crashing halt. And now you got to get off the roller coaster. If you want to go on it again, you got to get in line, wait for however long to get in line, get on again, get that momentum going, right? And that whole process goes again. And that's kind of like the game of progress, right? Sometimes it's like, it's just, you're just getting that momentum going and then you're cruising. And anything that gets thrown at you, you're like, I got it. And then hard stop. And sometimes that hard stop takes a while. Sometimes that line is like, I don't know, however long it needs to be or however long you end up making it. And then you got to get that momentum chugging again until you can finally get it on your side. So that's what I was doing is I came to that hard stop by creating all of this busyness in my life. And so when I realized that, I'm like, okay, why am I doing this? What is going on that I decided that I needed to step away from the progress that I was making and really just kind of get into autopilot, but throw other stuff on my plate so that I'm not making the progress that I want. And also, what rules have I put around what progress looks like? So, we've talked about this before in the past. What rules do we put on something in order for us to have an experience of a feeling and emotion, whatever it is, right? Like, in order to experience love, I need to have someone give me roses every Monday, kiss me 10 times a day, serenade me, whatever, whatever. And if I don't get all of that, then I don't feel love. So, that's an example of having rules around something. We do the same thing in everything, right? What do my rules around progress look like? Have I made it too hard for me to experience it? So I just put it to the side and just quit. Um, so these are the things that I'm looking at when I'm really starting to see why am I in this funk? Because I don't want to stay here. I want to get out of this line. I want to get back on the ride. I want to keep going. And so I started to realize some of the reasons of why I might be doing this. But the night that it really hit me was when my parents are in town. They came to visit. Now, here are some of the twists and turns of progress. When they got here, they had COVID. What a bummer. So we're all quarantining in the house. It's like, okay, no one gets to go out now because we want to make sure we're not spreading anything, right? And so one night we were having a conversation with my parents and Andrew, and the topic of college came up. And somehow, I don't know, we were talking about how I got through college and paid for it. My parents had helped out here and there. And Andrew asked me, he said, you didn't get any scholarships? And without even thinking about it, like split second reaction, I turned to him and I said, oh no, gosh, I was such a procrastinator. And he looked at me and he said, you were? And that moment, have you ever had a moment where something just kind of punches you in the gut? You're like, oh, how could you say that? But you're so right. Like, oh, take it back, but I needed to hear it. And so, I mean, I didn't sit there staring at him or anything. It was more, an internal moment of, and I realized I, procrastination was a big thing for me when I was younger. And it was something that I really wanted to overcome. And I didn't want to be the procrastinator. I didn't want to be known as a procrastinator. So I worked really hard to be like, okay, if you want something done, I'm going to do it. And if I need to get something done, I'm just going to do it. There's no reason to wait, why? Because I'm just going to be dreading it for the whole time. I might as well do it now. And there's a lot of things that I have become very successful with in overcoming procrastination. And so, like, I might even admit I had a little pride around it, right? We all know what happens when you have pride around something. It usually doesn't work out so well. And in that moment, I kind of put two things together. I put all of the busyness that I'd been throwing in and how I'd gotten off track, off my roller coaster track, and I'm stuck in line now, right? Waiting to get back on again. And this identity of procrastination. And I put it together. I realized, oh my holy moly, I know exactly what's going on. And I know exactly why I've been in a funk. It's because I have been avoiding doing the one thing that I need to do to move forward in this goal because of whatever stories that I've made up. But if I really break it down, there isn't anything about what I need to do to move forward that I haven't already done before and come out just fine. I'm still here. I'm still alive and kicking. So why am I putting so much pressure on this? And then, of course, you have that whole, that little, hi, my name's Failure. I'm trying to be your best friend. No, Failure, go away, go away. I don't want you. So I have all of this stuff now adding up, and now I'm like, my blind spot. It's starting to have some light shine on it. What's up? Now I know what's going on. And so I realized this forward goal, it has to do with making some phone calls, and it's going to be a little time intensive, which is fine. And I'm going to have to do some rearranging of scheduling and whatever. There might be some rejection, and that's fine. Really, I've been there many, many times in my life. I know how to handle it. And I've just been dragging my feet on it. And so I said, okay, I need to get off the procrastination line and I need to get back on this roller coaster and get my momentum going again. And I started thinking, okay, well, I've got my parents in town and I don't want to do it while they're here because it's going to take a lot of time. And it was kind of, I get to see them here once a year. And now I've taken all the time and be like, see ya. And sometimes there's a time for that. And I said, well, at this moment, I've already procrastinated enough. I can wait until at least my dad leaves. And then, because my mom's going to stay for a little while longer. But now that I know what it is, I can start setting it up. Oh, and then we're going on vacation. So we'll be gone. And obviously, don't want to be doing this while I'm on vacation. So I had to stop and think, I'm like, okay, am I creating more busyness to procrastinate some more? And so for me, creating progress in this was realizing, okay, I understand what my schedules are. I want to know, okay, what are the priorities? And I want to make this important. And at the same time, I'm not going to take away from my vacation and I want to really have some time with my parents. So as long as I set this up and start scheduling so that when I'm back, calls are in progress, then guess what? Progress is back in play. And I've created some forward action. And so, isn't it interesting when things start going really well, when you start creating some clarity, it's almost like stuff starts to get tossed at you and little obstacles start to come up to kind of test your resolve. So, the other day, we went to a friend's house for one of Zaya's and Ej's birthday. No, not their birthday, one of their friends' birthday. We weren't even there 5 minutes when Zaya falls off this thing and starts screaming and I'm like, you're fine. I dust off her back and then she turns around and I see her elbow and it's sticking out to the side like 2 or 3 inches. I'm like, you're not fine. So we didn't know if it was just a dislocated shoulder or elbow or what it was, but we decided to go to the hospital. And lo and behold, it turns out that she had broken her arm. She had fractured her elbow and it was on the growth plate, so it required surgery. And that was a very, very long 2 days of almost no sleep. But I tell you this because it's almost like things are going to happen when you make a decision and when you're ready to go. And sometimes it's really cool, they work in your favor. And sometimes it's like they're coming at you and trying to test you to see, are you really going to stick with this even when it gets busy, when you have painful things happen, when life is happening in a way that you don't have control over, right? Obviously, I don't have control over the fact that she broke her elbow and that my child, she's going to be fine. She's going to be fine. Everything is turning out well so far. But it's going to take some time where I got to take care of her and make sure she's okay. Fortunately, I have my mom in town for a couple of weeks to help. So that really helps. So is this something that really needs to knock me off? No. Could I let it be an excuse? Absolutely. So it's really looking at, how are you letting your life and what's going on? How are you reacting to it? And how are you letting it affect how you are pursuing whatever it is that you are in pursuit of? Progress in action. So now I have vented. This is where I'm at. And, thank you for being here and listening and letting me share all of this with you and tell you that sometimes there are the lows and sometimes they last a little longer than I intend them to. And at the same time, if I could figure out what's going on and get out of it, if there's something going on with you, trust me, you can figure it out, because I am not all that brilliant by any means. And I love being comfortable. So it's very easy for me to stay there. It's just around creating a habit, though, of knowing when things don't feel right for you, that there is a way to look back and see, okay, why are they not feeling right? And how can I get out of this pattern? Because that's what we do. We play patterns throughout our day, throughout our lives. And you'll notice that there are certain patterns that really, really like to be sticky, and certain patterns that you can move out of really easily. And either of them can work in your favor or against you. It's just how you choose to pursue them. All right. Oh, I got a new joke for you. You guys ready? How does a pirate call his mom? On his iPhone. All right. We were telling that one to all the nurses and they liked it. So I thought I'd share it with you. Okay. With that, you know what? I would love to hear from you about what you are trying to make progress on, where you might be hitting your head, and maybe some blind spots that you're trying to work around. Maybe we can figure it out together. And just hearing from you really does make a difference for me. I love it when I get your texts or your emails. Drop a comment. Let me know here. I would love to hear it. That really is important to me. And if you could relate to this, or if you know of someone that could relate to this, I would love it if you share. Just go ahead and click share. That'd be awesome as well. Because I'll tell you, one of the progresses that I'm trying to make is to grow this show. And honestly, I can't do it without you. So, first of all, thank you, because you're here. And thank you for any of the love that you want to spread. I appreciate that. So I will leave you for now. We're just going to make this nice, quick, and short, because sometimes you don't have that much time. And my alarm is going off because I have to go give my child some medicine. With that, make it fun, make it rich, and I will talk to you next week. Bye bye.